We're somewhat close to the conclusion. I was gonna say the other C word for that, but yes. Grubs just went whatever direction that was.
IV card.
Vagina.
Again, live.
That's why I said Virginia.
You gotta wait a
West
minute,
Virginia.
guys. YouTube has the thing. You gotta wait 1 minute, then you can swear. Say nasty stuff.
Sick nasty.
That was just SpongeBob saying hoopla.
Hoopla.
Wait, what car is that?
A Stutler car.
Oh, they can't hear it, huh?
That's definitely how you get a copyright claim.
Even if they couldn't pinpoint it, they'd probably try anyway.
This is DC we're talking about. Warner Bros. Heck yeah, they will.
It doesn't feel like it's decent, but it totally is. Little did he know that Superman would show up at Parliament to stop them all.
Uh-oh.
In that, like,
In that
together?
order, or abortion then we?
Shipments.
Also, obviously, the motif here is him being Edmond Dantes and her being Mercedes.
Yeah, this is like a ordeal call too. I've seen this before. Except Dante kisses Dante.
What? No. No Ordeal 2 calls, Ordeal 2 spoilers, how dare you?
I can.
Is JCV still making TV? I just saw TV that said JC. Yeah. Are they making TV?
Of.
How ironic.
and gives him a wet willy instead.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Flush the toilet when you're taking a shite.
Hey, that's perverse.
Ew.
Amy?
Electrocute.
Nope, he's about to have his final boogaloo.
And they all just back up.
Bollocks.
You could say anything in that situation, just fucking says.
Guns.
They are very efficient at their jobs and shot only the chest specifically.
I mean, the mask looks
No, yeah, they
bulletproof.
shot at the mask. It's bulletproof. I like that they didn't do the stupid thing where they surrounded him in a circle and then tried to shoot him that way.
Here's half the budget of the movie. This
Yeah.
one scene.
Has the pilgrim hat too. Reload.
Listen, the sword has after like shadow effect.
Yeah, after image.
That's 2020. That's 200 mil. 200 mil right there.
Those aren't size, right? They're just daggers.
They're just daggers. Bye, Chad.
They're watching V for Vendetta chat, which I had to go because that we were about to finish it, but the movie ran over, and I was like, well, I need to get live. So hope everybody's doing good. I just got the tweet out. Let me grab you guys today's sauce, and we'll be getting started here momentarily. What did I do with the sauce? There it is. Have I recovered from last night's delve? Yeah, I'm fine. Like, I was talking with Creamy after that. That delve is just the worst delve that I've ever had to do. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back there. Link for the background image. It is oh god, it should be in my Aurelia art channel, but the artist for it is crap. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Because I I know it, but let me It's Vanko. Vanko. Nope, not Kaito. This one's not Kaito. Kaito draws her bigger, chat. I've heard too many V words in the past hour, so like Vanko's name kind of slipped my my mind. But yes, today is the 5th of November, hence the reason that they are watching V for Vendetta, because remember, the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason plot. Okay, looks like I have the sauce ready. Oh, I do need to reboot. my bot here because apparently it's not doing what it needs to do. Oh shit, I'm British now. Curse you, V for Vendetta. Making me talking my British accent. British, yeah. Can't say the T letter. It has to. You only say T when you want tea. Cup of tea. Okay, I think it's back up and running. Someone on the YouTube side can say something just to clarify with me that it's working. Not for honor, but for you, Nikita. Okay. Something dark side. Okay, there we go. I see it. All right. In a dream, snake eater. Okay, let's get this party started, chat. Hello, everybody. Oh, looks like the camera is washing me out. And being all fuzzy, so it might have rebooted itself. Let me fix that here real fast. Sure enough, it did. I'd give my life for you. Fix the sharpness some. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of like all the fuzziness on my background. I'm not sure why that is, because it's not like there needs to be more light in this room. If anything, it's the reverse. In fact, let me turn up my saturation because I'm whitewashed right now. Okay, so there we go. So I figured since we're doing media share night, like you guys were saying the other day, probably better that I'm more reactive on cam, so we'll be doing another cam day impromptu here. You guys get 3D canned, indeed. Here is today's artwork for you. Make sure you guys go give the artist some love. Do we expect an announcement on JP tomorrow? I was talking with Trubs. He was thinking that we're probably getting a live stream next week. So I don't know, right? We'll see. We'll see what kind of timing we have. I think anything's possible, but really the only news we had FGO wise is Da Vinci got a buff, and ironically enough, I don't think I have her on JP, so I'm not even sure that I can do the upgrade. Let me double check. I love gold. I see. Are you a gold member? Yeah, oh god, I've got a ton, and unfortunately it's just the LV6 ones. Okay, I do actually have her, so we can start out by doing this. But yeah, this is an interesting upgrade for her. I was talking with Avalon about it. It really feels like they kind of low-key phoned it in. They didn't really, but it really is a case of like, this isn't what she needed type deal. Excuse me. Throw my muchachi in there. That should be enough. just a strengthening, so I'm not expecting much. Or is it an actual interlude? Yeah, okay, it is strengthening. Hello there. How's it going, everybody? That rank up pile, yeah, we can talk about it here real fast. Okay, so basically, as you guys know, Da Vinci had one, and some of the upgrades here have been a little bit like, huh, type deal, where we're not really sure why we're getting them, right? Or rather, we're not sure why that particular unit got it, and we're not sure why the upgrade was the way it was. Did this go backward? Did I? Oh, I might have hit backward and just like not paid attention. Let's see, was it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So basically, chat, we had Golden Rule Body EX, which this is, if you guys remember, DVR is different from normal caster because caster does the like 50% block charge. DVR is a little bit more party oriented. She grants herself debuff immunity for 3 turns, recovers her own HP for 3 turns, and charges her own MP gauge for 3 turns. And the rest of her kit, a little bit here, is kind of oriented towards the party, particularly with the party-wide charge after her NP. This is definitely one of the better reasons to use her. It's kind of always been her thing. And what's weird is it feels like they tried to go, hey, we know Da Vinci needs a damage upgrade, but instead of giving us the damage upgrade, now we're going to instead kind of like deviate. And we're going to, rather than make her try to compete with every other AoE rider out there, we're going to push her further down the support line, because that's what this upgrade to the first skill is. You can see it only adds stars, but it's granting the party 10 critical stars regeneration buff for 3 turns. What does that mean? For starters, it is stacked. It's locked in. And secondly, this is on each individual person as far as I understand it. So this is low-key Himiko. In that regard, you now have like an arts version of Himiko, and I'm going to say it's actually a pretty nice buff for her. Like, if you're using Da Vinci in a party-wide composition, if you're using her in a multi-damage dealer setup, or if you're using her just as the devoted looper, either way, this is going to allow you to have that capability of just shitting stars kind of in an arts comp. That's going to be really good, especially for certain units. So I do really like this buff for her. It is nice. It does feel like it was a, like, I don't know, give her something type buff. So I understand people's frustration with it. I also understand why it's good. And this is just one of those deals where it's a very odd choice of a buff. I'm okay with it. I don't have major issue with it, but yes, I think like DVR especially probably could have used some amount of like damage increase, particularly because you have units like Khadroth out there that are just kind of wrecking face right now. Khadroth's a welfare. She's guaranteeable NP5 after some amount of time. And not only does she hit hard, she has 80% charge. She can brute force looper, and she also can sacrifice herself and rotate the party. So Khadroth is the character to beat. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Khadroth is the most powerful rider. Not maybe necessarily in raw damage, but in the sense of everything that she can do. If you can really only have like the one rider, Khadroth's usually going to be your girl, and she does it very well. So to me, like, the fact that she exists and is as good as she is puts pressure on literally every other rider. So again, I think that's maybe why they said, hey, let's not make Da Vinci challenge her for damage. But I think that's going to be one of the only reasons that Da Vinci will get taken over Khadroth, is if they improve her damage. Now, don't get me wrong, she does have the party-wide support, as we mentioned before, but at the end of the day, you have to need it, and if Khadroth can just 3-turn the node easily or something like that, you're not going to care too much about having the party-wide support. So it's an interesting niche to have. It is still a point of differentiation for her, and it will be a reason why people take her, but I do really just wonder what the devs were thinking with this one. Hebbies for dying and farming? Yes. As the owner of an MP2 Da Vinci, I'm not complaining. Yeah, I'm not either, right? Like, it's definitely It's definitely a solid upgrade in that regard. I think at the first pass I missed that this was the same as Himiko's, and I thought it was like, oh, it's just the 10 stars per turn when I woke up this morning and saw it, and I was like, well, that's kind of shit. But no, it's definitely better than first meets the eye. It's just it doesn't really move the needle very much for her. If you were gonna take Da Vinci for supportive reasons, this doesn't change that. You're already gonna take her. It just makes her better at it. So to me, it's kind of an interesting choice for an upgrade. I don't really think it does very much in the grand scheme of things, but it is just going to make her better to use. So no complaints in that regard. It's not like, and you know, I can kind of say this with certain units. Some upgrades they do for the unit, they do it in such a way that it's almost subversive. That is to say, like, it undoes the conventional way that the unit had been getting used and played. This does not do that, at least, so it gets a passing grade. It's if you're gonna give a unit something, but you really don't want it to like change things too much, this is an okay buff. This is a great example of that. So, and who knows? Maybe they're just kind of waiting before they kick the tires on a round of like MP interludes and stuff. I think at this point, and I'm gonna be honest. This to me is one of the signs that there is a part 3 coming, that FGO is not ending, quote unquote. And the reason why is because if you were going to end FGO like sometime next year or something like that, or you weren't going to like develop the story anymore or anything like that, you wouldn't care. You would be like, we've got a Da Vinci banner. Let's just go ahead and like give her the buff, make her stronger, and now everyone will want to roll for her, right? You would be trying to milk it as much as possible. You'd be giving her that sweet NP interlude, and then watching as her damage numbers go a lot higher and people start desiring her more. That would be what you would get to do if you were going to end the game, because it would allow you to milk it more. The fact that we still care about, hey, no, we need to balance this. We need to not necessarily give her an NP interlude, because if we do, then it might upset the balance in the coming months, suggests that there is more to FGO into the future. And like I said, to me, that hasn't really been in doubt. My big question isn't will FGO end? My big question is, will the story end? I don't think it will. I think story will continue onward, but it's very, very much so going to be a new arc, right? Like you're going to get an arc 3. It's no longer going to be like Ordeal Call and Cosmos and the Lost Belt. So I think that's the one that's up in the air, not will the game end or not. And I think you can rest assured that like Aniplex does not want the game to end, right? Did you like FGO's pace this last year? No. I didn't like it the prior year, though, to be fair. Like, and I did say that it was going to hurt the game. And I think we have definitely seen, you know, just a downswing of interest in FGO. Like, the game is not nearly as culturally relevant and popular anymore. The game is not producing as many like numbers and stuff like that as it has in the past. We've actually seen revenue dip a little bit. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I can't say that that's the fault of anybody other than Aniplex, Lasingle, and Type Moon. It is not the fans' fault. Like, you can't sit there and be like, oh, well, it's the fans' fault for like why people aren't sticking around and why people aren't like spending more money on the game. No, it's absolutely the people running the game and making the choices that have chose to run the game at this pace, that have chose to handle things in these ways, and that has negatively impacted them long term. And we're seeing the impacts of that live, right? So, and I'm not trying to be doomer here. I'm just trying to point out that this is just the facts. This is as it currently stands, our situation here on the ground, right? That's okay. It's just basically, if they want the game to succeed, they have got to give more effort. They have got to go back to the pacing that they used to be at. I've talked about this before, but quite literally the game's pacing exceeded up until about year 3. And then year 4 was a slight downtick. and then year 5 kind of fell off because of COVID. But the weird part is it kept falling after COVID and just kept going. And that's the problem. It's the pacing has been kind of oof. Now, there have been some things here where, like, if we consider continuing on that trend, right? Year 8 was really fucking bad. Year 8 was the worst year FGO has ever seen. Year 9 is an uptick. It's an uptick, but the problem is if we consider this to be the whole graph, you're still upticking, but you're still not where the peak was, right? Like, so I'll give them credit where credit's due. They've done some better things this year compared to the prior year, but these things are still like, holy crap, my expectations were low, right? Like, I expected nothing and you did slightly better than nothing, right? So that's where it's like, yes, I'll give them the credit. They have turned things around some, but they've got to keep going. We need to keep getting back on the rise. Because, and I'm going to point this out again, like, you look at any of these long-running live service games. You look at, and I'll give you, for example, it's the one I really like to use because it's more familiar to me at this point, and I think it really does go to show that, like, if you look at something like League of Legends, why do people still play League of Legends? Why are people still interested in League of Legends? Why does League of Legends still have an esports championship? Why does it still make the money? It's because they keep developing the game and they keep pushing stuff out. Like League in the past, like basically at the beginning of the year, League totally revamped like their current like map and everything. And they have changed a couple things around. I guess they're also changing stuff on the esports side, but I've heard that that's kind of contentious and not popular, so we'll see. But the point that I'm going to make is that League, it might not be like at the peak it once was, but League has trended still like at least favorably over time. It has not died out after, you know, over a decade of people playing it. And the reason why is because the developers are keep developing it. They keep putting more stuff into it, and that does keep people coming back for more. The reason you'll see downticks like this is part of it is natural over time. Hype dies off. People become familiar with the game. It's a known quantity, and it's not got that buzz. But if you want things to go back up, you need only bring the hype back. You need only develop more content. You need only keep pushing. The reason for part of this fall off was, again, they kind of shat on the pacing pretty bad. And that's natural, right? That's one of those things where you can literally look and say that is the cause. As FGO has less to do, people naturally play the game less. It's just the truth, right? For instance, there is not very much to do right now in FGO on either server. Why? I don't know. NA, we know the answer. We're literally in a holding pattern right before our lotto. JP, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. JP's just on that 3-week schedule for events, but so is NA, to be fair. But JP is kind of just, you know, keeping their cards close to vest, and they're not telling us what's upcoming. So it's just one of those things where it's like, until they come out and they actually announce something, the game will kind of remain a little bit dead. When they announce something, it'll peak back again. That's how it always works. So you just have to understand that the game has peaks and valleys. It literally will just keep seesawing like this. And you just hope that over time it seesaws upward. But honestly, you just got to hope that we seesaw at least to the extent that it like flattens out. The fact that we still don't have a Ryder, Caesar, Saber, Kojiro, Saber, Raiko, etc. Yeah. How the fuck did FGO beat Prime Fortnite for most tweeted game in 2018? Because what the fuck are you going to tweet about Fortnite? Like, there's two things you're going to tweet about in Fortnite. And that's, I got a winner chicken dinner. And, oh, like, I hate these changes / I love these changes. Did y'all see Goku and then did you see like Sasuke styling on that motherfucker with his AK-47 no jutsu? Like that's really all you're going to talk about with Fortnite. In FGO, yes, it's also, I can be very reductive for that. You're going to talk about story, you're going to talk about gacha roles, you're going to talk about like new characters. That's it. But like people will still find ways to meme it. People will still find ways to talk about it. And the story having, you know, more than just that story, but also like implications for the greater Nasuverse as a whole does result in a lot of discussion. So, hello, Ice. Player base don't use Twitter nearly as much. But you got to consider too that like the primary market for something like Fortnite is younger individuals, so they're far less likely to be on social media in general, right? And if they are, you know, it may be something like YouTube or Twitch. It's going to be, hey, I'm just wanting to watch this Fortnite guy like game and see what he's all about and see if I can learn anything. They're not sitting there going and yapping on Twitter because like they didn't need to. Now, I'm sure there were some, right? And I'm sure a bunch of the adults that play Fortnite were also on Twitter. But yeah, that's how FGO can beat that sort of thing. I think for the 35. Not that she'll need it though, right? Well, again, I certainly would have liked an NP interlude. I'm in agreement with Avalon on that. Like, she definitely could use one. I will say though, and this is probably something that they're considering in the back of their mind, is like, okay, but if we give Da Vinci a NP buff, it's going to put pressure on all of our other AoE riders because Da Vinci is just so strong kit wise and everything that she does supportively. So if she is then also out damaging the other units, what the fuck do the other units bring to the table? And I think they're right on that. But this is where I say, who cares? You can have temporary imbalance. So long as you start to buff the other units, it's perfectly fine. If you choose not to, that's your own damn fault. And this is why, like I said, this may be an indication that there is a part 3, because otherwise, if you really think about it, like I said, okay, we're worried about the game's longevity, we just need cash and we need it now, we're going to call JG Wentworth 877 cash now. Instead, what if we, you know, like just immediately give the unit its NP interlude, and now like every time any unit has a banner, we just start giving them a buff, giving them an NP interlude, so that way we sell more units, that way we make the most money we possibly can before we brick the game, right? So that's what I'm saying. If anything, this is an indication that they still care about the balance and they're still continuing to go, because they don't want to immediately just slap an NP interlude on for fear of the repercussions of how it might impact the rest of the riders. Who's DVR's competition? Habitrot, Odysseus, really just about every AoE writer that you can think of. But those two are going to be like in the like most immediate like competition there. Nemo single target. So Habignon still seems to be destroying the AoE department though. Well, yeah, because this didn't impact damage. Well, of course. But no, that's my point, right? Like, Habitrot's this weird scenario of like, okay, but what do we do? Because she's just so damn strong. And I've talked to you guys about this before. This is just sort of the issue that Habitrot and units like her have, right? Okay. Sorry, I was just checking something. I like Columbus. I even grailed to 80, so I use it for first waves. Yeah, I like, again, just because a unit is better than another unit does not mean that you can't use the other unit, right? Like, we've talked about this numerous times over the years. It's one of those deals where units just basically are not mutually exclusive. You can use whoever you want as long as they can clear the node, or you can buff them to the extent that they need to handle the content. You don't really care. You're just going to take whatever unit you want to take. But, and I've said this before, they're not dealing with you. They're not dealing with me. They're dealing with everybody. They're dealing with averages, right? So if you have Unit A, and Unit A is popular, and Unit A is also meta, and then you have Unit B, and Unit B is over here, and Unit B is unpopular and unmeta, you're bum. You're not rolling for Unit B. Like yes, there will be some people that will, but the vast majority will roll for Unit A. That's what they have to consider. So they need to consider instead how to make Unit B more attractive to sell more copies. Unit A, even if they weren't meta, will probably sell copies because of this factor. But if Unit B is unpopular, they need to get rid of the unmeta and make it meta so that it sells more copies, and basically they sell more of both. Didn't even have a lot of banners. Yeah, Columbus does not get a lot. That's just kind of been how he's always been. So, also, I just realized I'm drinking out of a stealth bottle, an invisible bottle. You guys can't see this. You have no idea what this is that I am drinking. I had a leftover one from lunch the other day, and I was just like, well, I'm feeling kind of tired. I was like, I'll at least drink some tea, and then that way I have like, you know, something to kind of like keep me going through stream. Green tea, yes, it is green tea with ginseng honey. It is Arizona iced tea. Arizona sponsor win. I actually don't drink it that often. Usually where I get Arizona tea is if I go to like the gas station. So sometimes I'll go to like a Wawa and fill up my gas for like my lunch break. And in the process, because I need to get lunch and take it home and let the dogs out in the same lunch break, which is very difficult to do, I might add. I go to the Wawa, I, you know, set it up to like fill my gas. I quickly run inside, I grab something to eat, I grab a tea, run back out, get it as it's just finishing, and then, you know, drive off. It's the peak of like efficiency. Also very inexpensive. Yeah, I basically get this, and I usually either get like a salad or soup from Wawa. And those two things, like my lunch will be like $7. It's like, do you guys remember how much lunches used to cost like 2 years ago? Yeah, that's like how much it costs like for me to get Wawa lunch. It's more than 2 years, unfortunately. But like, yeah, it's just one of those deals where it's like, it's actually low-key the cheapest lunch I can get. Unfortunately, the paying for gas aspect of it makes it a little bit more expensive. So, let's see. There's always already been more than 99 cents because of Hawaii. Yeah, if you ever live in non-continental United States, stuff just takes a crap ton more money, right? Can they buff Barcast to no longer have damage cut or more damage cut? Oh, to have longer damage cut. I thought you said no longer, and I was like, wait, why would you want it removed? I don't know. Like, here's my only issue with this is let's talk about a Barcast buff, right? Because they buffed Balbon. I disagree with the Balbon buff. Why? Balbon was already really good and really competitive without the buff. And Balbon had popularity on her side. So you literally took a quote-unquote meta unit, a popular unit, and you buffed it. That's, objectively speaking, dumb. Did it sell more Balbons? No, I don't think it did. And the reason why I don't think it did is because people were either going to roll that banner already or they weren't. I don't think that buff really changed anyone's mind because most people already liked Balbon. That's where, like I said, to me, they need to be a little bit smarter about it. Now, I'm not going to say that she couldn't get a buff, and I'm not going to say that it was like, like, oh my god, this is terrible for the game because she got a buff. It's just one of those deals where it's like, okay, but why? Why her? I can understand why there, because again, the LB6 thing, but to me, it's probably better saved for other units. However, I don't really care as long as they just start buffing the archers as a whole, right? So now if we look at that, let's recontext that with Barghest. Should Barghest get a buff? I am of the opinion that no, Barghest should not get a buff. Barghest is one of the best challenge units in the game right now. Like, not for like, oh, super knockdown, drag out fight necessarily, but like for just quirky, annoying fights that have like stupid buffs. Barghest is amazing for that type of content. She always has been. She always will be. The one area that Barghest is lacking currently is damage. That's really it. That's her major weakness. And she can still deal good damage, but she doesn't have the ability to bring the sun herself. And she, again, just kind of is a little bit lower on the damage scale because of everything else in her kit. So to me, yeah, like you could buff her, but it's just going to be, again, buffing the already popular, already strong unit. To me, that's the example of who you should not buff. And the reason why, again, being that that unit will sell regardless of what you do. So if they buff it, it's going to please every single person. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that you probably shouldn't be buffing the top people. Is Barghest top? No, but she's definitely already good in a lot of ways, and we're not going to struggle to, like see and find uses for her. So to me, they're better served by buffing a different unit than her. Could they? Would it be the end of the world if they did? Sure, they could do it, and no, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But should they? Probably not. Like I said, it's not going to actually sell more Barghests. People are already just going to either like Barghest or not. They're already going to roll for her or not. So I think essentially because she's already good enough in gameplay, the gameplay people have already acquired Barghest. You've already won that popular side of things. You've already won that gameplay side of things. So if they choose to then buff her, you're kind of just, pouring like oil on the fire at that point. It was already blazing, right? You're just making it blaze harder. So when they do that sort of thing, then it becomes even harder to get anybody else to roll a different unit. For instance, let's look at Barghest here in the context of competitors. Chat, if they buff Barghest, are you ever going to roll for Gawain? Are you ever going to roll for Summer Gareth, right? Like, those are her two competitors because they do fundamentally the same things. And the answer is no, you're not going to roll for them because you love Barghest. And therein lies the problem. So instead, they actually need to buff the other units beyond them to give you a reason to roll for them. And that's why we have such a weird problem. I don't really care. Like I don't have a dog in that fight in that regard. In fact, if anything, I probably prefer Barghest. But I definitely can understand that it's sort of an issue for them, right? Like they have to find some ability to balance it. Some ability to say like, okay, yeah, the unit's still going to be competitive, but they're already popular. Let's buff the unit that's not popular and not competitive, right? A dog in a Barghest fight? Yeah. I wasn't going to roll for them anyways. Right. And that's the thing. So it's like, you might consider rolling for it if the unit becomes like obscenely powerful, for instance. But you're certainly not going to if the unit just doesn't really bring much to the table, right? So to me, what they need to be doing, they need to be going like, okay, if this is your unit and this is another unit and then this is another unit and then this is another unit, this unit's the strongest, don't buff it. You need to be buffing this unit, and this unit needs to be like buffed up to here. It's just the truth, right? Like, you need to go find the objectively worst unit and buff it, and then create the treadmill all over again. Summer Gareth, even at MP5, hits like a wet noodle. Oh yeah, they did Summer Gareth dirty. Like, summer units in general have been kind of hit or miss, and I don't mean popularity, I mean design. Like, a lot of the time summer units look like they have a good kit on off the rip, but their actual numerical performance is not the greatest. And then over time, you know, especially with their past strategy, they really don't buff our summer units very often. They often feel like they're trying to avoid doing so. In fact, for the first, like, was it like 5 years of the game, we didn't have a singular buff for any summer unit, right? So it was pretty clear that they did not wish to actually buff them. So I understand that they probably wish to make it so that people just don't have a full roster of summer units, but like, I don't know, people are going to keep rolling the summer units. You make your most money off the summer units. I don't see any reason to like leave them behind in that regard. Like I said, to me, this goes back to their strategy overall for how they approach like player consumption of the game. I feel like it's flawed. I feel like I'm not going to call it wrong. I just feel like it's flawed. We can talk about like, hey, look, like their stance is you should roll a new unit because you have a unit at 15. Not, we're not going to give you bond 20, or we're not going to give you bond overflow. You should roll a new unit. That is a stupid mentality. Because for starters, you're staring at a unit that has no equal. There is no replacement for this unit. Nor are they ever going to add one, by the way. I think they know what they did with Castoria, and I don't think they wish to do it again. But yeah, it's one of those deals where it's like, I'm not going to stop using her. And oh, look at that. I have actually rolled another alternative. I also have Tamamo and Nero Bride on this account. So it's like, I have most of the alternatives that they would wish for me to roll already, but I still just wish to use Castoria. So why am I being penalized? And that's where it's like, you can kind of look at that and you can go like, yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you could also apply that to your summer units. If you really enjoy using the summer units, why the hell aren't they buffing the summer units? Right? Like, you're kind of sitting there and you're like scratching your head and you're just like, well, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Buff the summer units so that I can use them because I enjoy them. Whereas instead their stance is, I'm not going to. You go to hell and you die, sir. Speaking of Da Vinci, why don't we go ahead and toss her in here? The alternatives don't replace her, they go with her. Exactly. And it's the same thing. It's like if you hit Bond 15 on your Oberon, there is no replacement. If you hit Bond 15 on your Koyanskaya, there is no replacement. So what do the developers wish for you to do then? The answer is still they wish for you to continue to roll more. But the reality is all they're doing is just putting a finite cap on your resource gain. And they can do that, but it's not going to make the player happy. New events will probably enforce the no dupes in the party rule. No, they won't do that. And they have said before that they wish for players to use duplicates. There actually was a comment from not this current year, but the prior year's Famitsu article where they essentially mentioned, hey, look, we know that like in one hand they said like, okay, no, nothing past Bond 15, which seemed very like anti-player in that regard. And again, maybe anti-duplicate. But then on the flip side, they were talking about the team composition tool that they had put in for like creating a team very fast. And they said that they did actually wish to improve it, that they wanted new players to be able to use duplicates because it is essential to certain strategies. And that is the truth. I actually do believe them in that regard because, again, if you don't use dual Koyanskayas, you can't pull off half the Koyanskaya comps. More than half, I would say. So, like, it's kind of a problem. They definitely need to be able to, like, handle that sort of stuff. Okay. Yeah, dual DPS strategies are definitely a thing. I have talked about that though before. Like, it's difficult to leverage dual DPS to do more damage than a singular high NP level damage dealer. You can in some cases, right? For instance, like the advanced quest that we did yesterday where I was using both Ibuki and Double X to kill. That was a classic example of where that strategy works, where you have a unit that's strong enough to kill all the units save one, and then you need somebody else to handle the one. But that's less of a, like, that's less of a, oh, you just didn't have a unit strong enough, and more of the node actively prevented it. Going into the future, this is actually going to become more of a problem, not less. And the reason that I say this is because essentially, if you thought that dual DPS is going to grow in the amount of comps that you'll see, it's actually the inverse. And the reason why is some of these new like units that we've gotten, some of these beast class units, they are so strong and they are so capable of countering what otherwise would be a node that you couldn't overcome with one enemy. Foreigners are a very big annoyance for berserkers, so you can't just berserker your way through everything with foreigners in the node. Unfortunately, we do actually have units nowadays that can basically deal extra damage to all extra classes. So you have what amounts to an extra class berserker. That's going to defeat that whole, hey, let me run with a dual damage dealer setup. Now, instead, I just take the one unit that I have because I rolled them to be really strong and it shits on it. Whereas before, they could kind of skew certain node structures in a way that made it very anti-berserker and anti-one-size-fits-all solution. Now, they kind of can't as they go forward. The only way they're going to be able to do that is by physically health checking you. Which, you know, is something that they can do. But I think, again, you're just going to see that that's going to become more and more of an issue where, yeah, it's like they're not able to enforce that on you anymore. Irreplaceable units is the difficulty of doing 6 CE farming without them. It's not a perfect solution, but a C that had 10% bond plus 50% charge could reduce the dependency. Yeah, I've talked about that before. I would love it. I think that's always in their capacity to do, but they just haven't for whatever the reason, right? And we'll just have to see what they kind of handle with it in the future. Oh, this is against Berserkers. Oh god, this is gonna be a little bit spicy here. Class advantage, what's that? Can I eat it? Yeah. I think one of the smartest things that they've done is how they have handled the like storm pod nodes recently here with the 5 times 6 like class advantage. I think with the amount of health that they have in those nodes, it should actually be 10 times advantage. But because that way then like any one of the appropriate class works. But yeah, they're really trying hard to like kind of suppress the number of choices that you have, and I don't really like that. I think that's kind of a problem. But yeah, I think the reason that they started trying to do that stuff is for units like Melisson, units like Tiamat, and basically they understood that they had some of these juggernauts of their own making that were just kind of wrecking the game's balance overall. And they were like, crap, we need to actually incentivize people to take the other classes and the other units. So to me, that's why I say, like, they should be more forgiving to units of the individual class that they want you to take, and instead like harder punish the units of a different class that they don't want you taking. So the way you do that is you still keep the health values obscenely high like they are, but you increase the modifier. 5 times felt too low because it still required you to have like an NP5 of certain key units to do it. I don't think the bar should be that high. I think the bar should be much, much lower. And I think that's the issue. But you'll also buff one more DPS than the other, which replaces the lower one and a stronger one in general, if not a niche. Yeah, what's weird is like I haven't really been running the dual DPS setups in 90++ content. Where I run them is in like challenge content. So, and I don't consider 90++ challenge, right? Like it's challenging, but it's not a challenge. It's literally a farm node still. So it's like you can do it in those nodes, but more often than not, I am going with a superpowered damage dealer still in those. And the reason being just because it is the easiest one-stop shop solution. Where they're going to start to get us is if they start to mix up the nodes a little bit more. And like you're indicating, Avalon, like they could certainly screw with niches. Like, for instance, the Charlemagne node upcoming, part of it is so nasty because there's 2 counter-opposed classes, and the other part is because Charlemagne is star attribute, which just renders Gil ineffective and also renders a lot of other niches against him ineffective. You can't just go like, oh, I have man trait, or oh, I have earth trait. It doesn't work. He's star. So it's a much, much harder thing to overcome. And that is one of the ways they can do it. But thankfully, for better or worse, they don't do that very often. Because that certainly would be a problem if they were. All right, let's see if the Surf Mo has enough damage. The big Avenger in Wave 2 while having Cavalry in Wave 3. Right, but see, like, so let's take a look at that node in theory, right? Okay, you've got an Avenger and you've got Cavalry. What do? What's the effective one-size-fits-all solution to that node? You know what it is, chat. Yes, tried and true Oonga Boonga Berserker. You just loop through that shit with a Berserker and you laugh. Now, don't get me wrong. Can you do other things for it? Yes. This is also, like I said, why one of their fallbacks for if they didn't want you to just Berserker something was to stick a pesky foreigner in there, because they knew that was going to mess with Berserker setups. And that's why I was saying, like, that has kind of gone the way of the dodo. They can't pull that trick on you anymore, because there is a solution for that trick now. They can pull it on you if you don't have that unit, but they can't pull it on you if you do. And so that makes it harder for them to kind of try and force people to work around the issue. Hey, getting my Surf Mo to do effective damage here is going to be a little bit spicy, but we should be fine. Sorry, not effective, but just enough. What 2 animals would you like to switch the sounds they make? A donkey and a cat. Like just a common house cat. Crows and lions both would still be ominous. Crickets and screaming ghosts? I think you just mean ghosts. Because technically all ghosts can do that. Do I have any other half cost? Man, I have a lot of upgrades to do on JP. Be a shame if they actually gave us a half cost strengthening campaign, right? Like, chat, and the reason that these are undone is because I've been waiting on them to give us one, and they still haven't. I think I didn't finish melts though while it was available. Okapi and Kokui frogs? I'm not sure about the last one. I can't say I've ever heard of that. JP event ends tonight, so maybe we get something tomorrow. Yeah, but there, at least so far, there's no announcement of a live stream, so whoop-de-doo. Oh yeah, Ozzy. I still have to do his stuff. Yeah, see, I don't have anything half cost for that. Okay, let's run over. Let's do ordeal call. Nope, not that. Actually, how many do I have of this? 132. Probably keep doing this till I have about 150 of them. And then I will seek greener pastures, potentially. Probably a dead week into an event, Pepe Hands. Well, it's funny, right? Because it's like, to us, the stuff's been dead for a while. To be fair, we've been doing the JP event. Like, I only finished the JP event, I think, like 2 or 3 days ago. Like, it actually took me quite a bit of time. And I could still technically be back in there farming some of the other resources. It's just not really to my benefit. But for instance, chat, here you go. Here is a 90++ node. And how am I solving it? Really, where you need dual damage dealer setups is usually when they mess with the classes. If it's a singular class node, you don't need it. And even if it is, you still might not need it. So it's an interesting issue that the game has overall. And it's one of those things where I actually think they need to start using that class effectiveness modifier a little bit more. Partially because I think their main goal, like if you go all the way back, remember most conventional nodes just used to be 3-3-3. That's how they had it handled, and that's what you had to do. And this forced AoE for farming and single target for boss killing. And I think they wanted to mix things up. They wanted to bring single target back into farming, and that's why we started to see the 90+ nodes, where you had odd structure, as I like to call it, the odd structured node, right? And instead, it, like you get like a 3-1-2 node, a 2-1-2 node, a 1-1-3 node, that sort of stuff, right? And I think that was ultimately a failure, because I think as much as they tried, they still couldn't stop people from just taking a singular damage dealer. And so then they came out with a 90++ node. And still, try as they might, they have had the same issue. Hence, now they have gone to like 90 star nodes and having a 5 times modifier for class effectiveness. That is the only real way they can force it. You put so much health into the node that you can't possibly one size fits all the thing. Unless it's the right class, at least. I haven't touched the event. Mage. Sounds like birds chirping in the night that confuses people. Do I have them? Because I swear, like, I've gotten woken up at like 3 or 4 in the morning by a bird before, and I've been like, shut the fuck up. Like, stop making noise. Do you have an idea when the lotto is? I would think they would announce it today. I think they announced the live stream is Thursday. So, and again, we pretty much know it's going to be on the 8th. All signs pointed to it. Yep, Chaldea Broadcasting Station, Branch Light, Volume 11, basically on that day. So, like I said, stands to reason that on Friday we'll be getting the lotto, which is shocking. I know. It's almost like I literally predicted this. Do you think they will do Memorial Quest for Lost Belt 7 like other Lost Belts? Because I don't think 7 really hard to be more hard. Well, so you're wondering if we're gonna get quote unquote Road to 7 quest for Lost Belt 7 on JP, I assume. Yeah, you probably will, because I think they're literally gonna go all the way through Ordeal Call 2 with these suckers, and that'll be interesting at least because we have not had to do super recos of those, so we'll see. Super Reco Spider. I don't think you'll get a Super Reco of that particular fight unless it's like the final fight only. But there's definitely some Super Recos in there that I would not want to fight. That's all I'm gonna say. I would not want to fight some of those. Particularly and I don't want to be spoilery here because again we don't have LB7 yet on NA, so mind your words, chat. But particularly a certain fight that has like 5 break bars. that one terrifies me. So I really hope that doesn't become a thing again. There's a couple easy picks. Yeah, I agree. I had to go to Daeon as main DPS and taunt unit with the crit resist up C just to get through it all because my other sabers were just dying in supports. It's funny because I had to level 100 some CEs and I actually level 100 Maiden Halloween because that C is super good for like soloing against certain things because it just increases your healing, and level 100ing it makes you have like freaking what, like 3,000 extra HP. So I was like, you know what? Why not? The Holy Grail War, what are you wishing for upon victory? Big breasted British blonde broads. Infinite wishes, you can't do that. That's illegal. Everybody knows. You know, it is funny. We never like had any like indication of rules for the Holy Grail. Like, oh, like you can't wish for this. That's illegal. Right? Like, so in theory, you could wish for infinite wishes. It's only illegal with genies, I guess. Probably the genie union. I wish for a genius. Okay. Albert Einstein is standing next to you. What now? Congratulations, a genius has appeared. That I can keep Nero forever. Okay, you get Nero's bones in a box. In the forever box. The monkey paw curls. Wish for the ability to grant my own wishes. Congratulations, you are turned into a holy grail. Come on, chat. You have to you need more qualifiers, right? Like you got to lawyer that shit. It's just how it rolls. Infinite Wishes is probably instant counter guardian BS. Or you're like trapped in Grail hell. I don't know, right? To send my enemies into Zokin's pit. Ah, and you get sent into Zokin's pit because you hate yourself. I wish that things work out in my favor all the time. Yeah. Fantastic win-win. I don't think that's a win you want. I would wish for 3 wives, all different ethnicities. Okay, 3 women walk up to you and slap you. You didn't say they had to be your wives. Oh, okay. So, and a mansion to live with them in. All right. So, somebody else is married to the 3 women, and you are now like the gardener / butler. I wish no monkey's paw bullshit. Okay, there's no monkey paw bullshit. Congratulations, you got your wish. Nothing happens. The Grail continues to bubble and froth over. Well, you're not. You didn't wish for that, Ash. Like I said, you didn't clarify that they had to be your wives. Ash is just living with someone else's wives, but not necessarily in a reciprocal relationship type of way. I wish for $1 million US. $1 million US immediately falls in your head, crushing you and killing you. I wish the Grail to become my wife. You literally get to marry a cup. I wish for Cad to become a genie. Didn't they pull that shit in Aladdin? Didn't they like wish for Jafar to become a genie at some point or some crap as like recompense for his evil deeds? Isn't that like the second Aladdin movie or something? But congratulations, I become an omnipotent genie somewhere else in the world. As the climax of the first? Okay. It's been forever since I've seen actual Aladdin. I probably need to like sit down and watch that. Like back when the Disney movies were actually good. My wish didn't get a debuff. I think I won, I guess. No, because the Grail still bubbles over and kills everyone, including you. Which is also, I need to like state that this is not being stated for every wish, but it absolutely is still there. It's and happening. It's like the asterisk at the end of your wish. The Grail still bubbles over and kills everyone. You get reincarnated in a Bollywood movie as a genie? Yeah, maybe, right? Like, or maybe it's just Halloween and I'm wearing a genie costume. I wish to know all the information when I hear gossip, both sides, and full truth of every gossip that I hear. Congratulations, you can now hear everything and your ears begin to bleed out. You rupture your eardrums. Itty bitty living space. That's right. I wish to have 500 million US dollars be deposited in my bank account with no taxes applied. Congratulations, the IRS begins to investigate you for tax evasion. Because you didn't pay your taxes. You were close. You almost had that one. You should have just said after taxes. And then you would have had it. I'm not a US citizen. You think that'll stop the IRS? Thanks for the resub resurgence. Appreciate it. And Arayless, thank you as well. I don't know how I missed yours. And thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. I guess we are done on Jippy. I wish for Fudas to be real. Nothing happens. Your wish already exists. And the Grail boils over and kills everyone. Again, if nothing happens, I'm just going to state the obvious, but... I wish for the ultimate body health. Congratulations, you were the healthiest person on the world for that second, and then like a car just runs into you. Because they exempted and also 100% fully legal. Okay, that happens, and then a bank robbery occurs and all of your finances are stolen. And somehow the bank doesn't have insurance to cover it. Your lips are big and misshapen? Hey. Listen, at this point, I'll take anything, okay? Even the Joker doesn't fuck with the IRS? Yep. He knows. He knows, chat. Let's see. I have missions I have to do. Not only do I have to do 3 missions today, but I have weekly missions. No, I don't. I completed all my weeklies? How? How did I do that? It must have been doing all the advanced quests, got them all complete. I guess we're going to Trom. I have nothing better to do, so back to Reichenbach. I wish cancer to be contagious. Congratulations, you were the first patient. You were patient X. And then it probably just, like, you know, again, the Grail boils over and kills everyone, so it doesn't matter. Like, you gave everybody a slower death than the Grail would give you. It's still a fucked up thing that you're wishing for, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Cad, I wish for Cad to meet a beautiful single woman around 25 to 35 years old, interested in Cad, and also is an FGO player, and is into anime and dark humor, and is ready to mingle. Okay, that would happen. I would meet her, and she would be interested in me, but then, like, again, like, you know, the like, school bus runs her over or something. Or, like, I drop dead of a heart attack because there's just no way that would happen. I wish for humanity to be wiped from existence. The Grail smiles. Wish granted. Congratulations, you're the first person to have your wish granted. with technically no negative repercussions because it was just already exactly as it was going to happen. I wish for the Grail to be purified. Okay, it empties the mud out of itself, killing everyone. Grail triple student debt and double world hunger. Make blind people able to see for only 10 minutes. Shit yourself, Grail. It does all of those things and everybody still dies. I wish for CAD no combat on my wish. Okay, everyone still dies, including me. This sounds like the Final Destination movies. That's because it is. The Grail finds a way. Imagine if he went through all of this just to be a dick. Pretty much. Hello, Peaceful. How's it going? I wish to raise all of CAD's builds tenfold. Okay, that's fine. I still die before I ever have to pay any of them. You forgot the part where the Grail gives us a knife? Apparently, yeah. I wish the Star Wars sequel trilogy was actually good. Damn. That's, I don't know if the Grail can do that one. You may have found an impossible wish. Holy Grail destroy the moon. The moon grows an angry, toothy face, and it crashes into the earth, killing everybody. As the clock tower counts down. And the music gets more ominous. I wish the Grail never existed. That's an interesting one. That may be an exception. Because, like, I mean, it would have to monkey pot. It would have to just kill everybody. And then cease to exist somehow. But it can't fulfill that wish, right? Like, it would have to wish itself out of existence and thus not be able to boil over and kill everyone. Grail explodes from that? Yeah, like, I just imagine it would have to monkey paw you really hard. The trilogy doesn't change everyone's taste in media, however, does. Oh God, that's evil. Okay, there you go. You actually found a solution to that one, and I hate it. And yes, we're just doing wishes. I wish for that DIA bullshit stop. You mean DEA? Yeah, it stops because everyone dies. It would be a paradox, yeah. Forms a time paradox that erases existence, pretty much. You can see Zelda in the distance as the moon crashes, pretty much. I totally went Majora's Mask with that. If you go into paradox logic, you wouldn't be able to wish on it. Well, it would have to just create an alternate timeline. That'd be how it would do it. And the only way to unfuck the timeline would be to wish the Grail back into existence. Or to, like, restore the original. The Grail makes the Star Wars sequel trilogy good by getting rid of everybody who hated it. Also, another applicable solution. I wish that J.R.R. Martin finishes and publishes The Winds of Winter. He does. It is published currently as is, without an actual, like, conclusion. Because you just said finished. You didn't say, like, how he finished it, right? So, like, it just ends abruptly right there. Wherever he picked up the pen, that's where it ends. Mid sentence, yeah. And the next king on the throne shall be, and it just stops. Grail, make me 2 inches taller that won't cause me pain or kill me or anything negative to me. The Grail makes you watch as everybody around you dies. And you are the last living human that gets to live out the rest of your days until you die. Alone and sad. It didn't do anything negative to you. It just killed everybody else. I wish the Age of Mystics would return. It literally bathed the entire planet in you know, sussy grease, and then it basically you know, restores everybody to the aether and regenerates all the magic that was necessary to recreate the Age of the Gods. Wish for Oda to die before finishing One Piece? Wow. Wow, it grants you that wish and it also kills everybody else. A Merry Melodies episode? I'm not sure what that is. So I can't appropriately render the Grail's judgment on that one. The Grail makes you taller and also everybody else in the world taller. The Grail watches over the world and turns you all into trees of emptiness, killing you in the process. Frieza wanted 5 centimeters? Wait, what? It's like Looney Tunes? I see. Merry Melodies is the official name for Looney Tunes? Is it? I never knew that. Because it was always just Looney Tunes to me. I wish the world ran on cartoon logic. I don't think you really want that, because that's where, like, you step on a crack, you break your back and stuff like that comes from. You constantly are in, like, simultaneously life-threatening but not life-threatening situations. So what I get from this is that you'd be a great Holy Grail vessel, Cad. Noted. Well, listen. I think it's very easy to predict the monkey pawing. The closest one that we've gotten is somebody got an actual paradox, right? Like, that's the only way you're going to be able to, like, do anything. Turned every anime into Blue Lock's new season animation. Every anime is now Blue Lock. There is no more variety in anime. Have fun with an anvil on your head 24/7? Yeah. Yeah, the Grail just turns everything into Cuphead. The chat wanted cartoon logic. Wish for Mephisto to take Mash's place in FGO. But he's already in FGO. Cartoon logic can get dark. Oh yeah, yeah. The Grail turns everything into happy tree friends. Chat, that's a universe that I don't want to live in. Because I'm pretty sure just about everybody dies in Happy Tree Friends at least once. I think there's only like one person that canonically never dies in Happy Tree Friends. And I think it's Lucky. And I think it's... Wait, no, is it Lucky? No, I think Lucky's name is ironic. There's one character that doesn't ever die. Because they're just never like the asshole. Happy Tree Friends is weird. Always has been. My wish is to take Angry Mango's place. You take Angry Mango's place. Everybody still dies. I remember watching that in school. Yep. That was back when, like, we had actual, like, formative content on, like, YouTube and stuff. Do 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 do. I wish 2 + 2 to equal 5. Okay. It does. Congratulations. Everyone dies with this knowledge in their head. Seemingly as fact. Later did I know it was a show? I'm surprised somebody drew fan art of it. Like, I guess I'm not, but like... it just sounds awful, right? Magase I abilities from Babylon? Wait, I'm confused. Do I not understand this reference? I wish for nothing. The Grail completes your wish, turning everything into nothingness. Congratulations. Hello, Lemonade. How's it going? But I think chat has concluded their desire to have their Grail wishes granted. I wish to fuck the Grail's mud. The Grail's mud goes through every single orifice you have on your body. I wish for a cookie. You become a cookie. I wish for chaos. Granted. Well, now that you've said it, Ice, that means that it's gonna have to happen. I wish Twitch banned every titty streamer. Twitch literally like bans every titty streamer and then goes bankrupt. Wish the world becomes similar to Final Fantasy. Oh, that's a terrible one. Because It turns it into Final Fantasy VI, where Kefka wins. Now that I'm all the world's evil, my first evil deed is to make everybody watch the black tape from Yu Yu Hakusho. It doesn't matter. Everyone's already dead by the time you finish your transformation. Kefka just reshapes the planet, doesn't do a damn thing. Okay, then the planet gets hit by meteor from Final Fantasy VII. Thinking being mango makes you powerful. Yeah, it don't. Man's not hot. I wish to be Griffith. You become Peter Griffith. Thinking being... Yeah, okay. Living in any Final Fantasy world would suck. Yeah, the Final Fantasy is usually like a pretty like apocalyptic world where it only gets saved because the heroes do good. Like the other example would be like, oh, it puts you in Xanarkand in Final Fantasy X. And then it gets destroyed. And you're like, oh shit. I wish all cell phones had 1 bar of connection and never had a good connection. Okay, wish granted. Nobody gets to call their loved one as they're dying from the Grail mud. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but it ain't Final Fantasy if everything's peachy. See, I hear you say that, Prophet, but then why do we have so many versions of it? Like, if it's final, why did we get Final Fantasy 2? This is the question I've been asking myself. The final was just the beginning, apparently. Money, yes. Money solves everything. So, chat, is this song about a man being hot or a man, like, carrying something illegal? Because I can't tell. And I need somebody to educate me. He literally says the man's not hot. I know. But hot has many interpretations. He's British, so who knows? Oh, okay. Also, did that broke my capture card again. I wish Bandai and Square Enix let Monolith Soft have the rights to Xenogears and Xenosaga. They do. However, shortly thereafter, in the purchasing and acquisition of the rights, Monolith Soft goes bankrupt and never makes another game ever again. Listen, I didn't do this. You're the one that wished for it, okay? It's like it happened, but all of a sudden, it just you never actually get anything out of it. Make the Grail unable of granting anything. The Grail shatters open, unleashing all of the black Grail goo out into the world, killing everyone. I wish Chrono Cross was not an official sequel to Chrono Trigger. I wish the Grail mud didn't kill people. It now horrifically transforms them into, like, monsters. It doesn't kill them, but they're no longer what they once were. I can live with that. That includes you. You don't get to live. We did, Patrick. We saved the city. Yeah, I don't think you got to. I wish the Grail mud to just be lotion. Okay, the Grail mud turns into icy hot, burning everybody alive. What an auspicious number of blue apples I had there on JP. I have so many blue apples, I could do like 2 lottos on JP. Gonna become quite the problem here soon. I wish that the Grail is powerless. The Grail empties out all its mud, killing everybody, and then becomes inert. You didn't give it a time frame. I guess we already purchased everything from that. They already purchased everything from this. Yep. It costs me like 3,000 mana prisms a month right now in the JP mana prism shop. It's getting kind of bad. I need to just stop buying some things. Can we wish for OG BioWare to keep making Dragon Age? They eternally make Dragon Age, and it is never good. Henceforth. I wish for the Holy Grail to give me 2 dicks. It does, and then it kills you. it temporarily grants you your wish. Yeah, that too. They're each very small. Now, you know I can't read that one, Alba. He didn't specify where they would be located either. That's true. Or that they would be attached to you. Also true. I am immortal. That's a second wish. Unfortunately, the Grail only has one. No takesies backsies. You already blew your load. Like, metaphorically speaking. I wish that every woman became a femboy. Every woman becomes a femboy, and the entire human race dies out. Not that the Grail wouldn't kill them first, but even if they didn't, that future is fucked for you. I was immortal to begin with? No, you weren't. No, you weren't. That's unfortunate for you, but no. Well, chat, I guess we can do media share night. Because, like, I thought I had some missions to do on NA, but I don't. So, there is quite literally nothing else left in that regard. Okay, we're gonna watch this first. Also, let me switch gears here. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. There's me, and then there's me behind me. And then there I go. Bye, YouTube. Oh, right. Yes, I also need to end YouTube side of things. I'm sorry, YouTube, but I have to end you. I love you. I will see you guys for the next one. If you guys want to watch, you can feel free to come over on the Twitch side of things, but for copyright reasons, I cannot continue the YouTube side of things. So, again, thank you guys for watching. I will probably be back tomorrow. I appreciate all of you. But again, later.